Welcome to Steady iPass International. Today's tutorial will focus on the approach you need to use to pass the research report part 2 of topic 17. The objective of this tutorial is to provide key skills and techniques you need to write a successful research report part 2. My name is Isaac Jima. You can connect with me on LinkedIn by sending connection request with the web link on your screen. Also, you can send me an email via obuacc@steadyipass.com or join the topic forum on our website www.steadyipass.com. Our agenda for today includes component guidelines, samples discussion, and key considerations. The research report part 2 is all about information gathering and accounting techniques or business models. The research report part 2 key components are 2.1 sources of information, 2.2 method of gathering data, 2.3 limitations of gathering information, 2.4 ethical issues, 2.5 accounting techniques and business model. Remember, to pass the research report part 2 for topic 17, you need to pass each of these components. Let us look at how to pass each component of the topic 17 research report part 2. The first component we look at is 2.1 sources of information. And the objective of 2.1 is to identify and state the sources of data and information. So what the marker is seeking to know is, what are the sources of information you'll be gathering data from? You answer by 1, identifying the type of data you'll be using, and 2, stating the sources you get those data from. This is very important because the wrong source will communicate to the marker what you have done under research report part 3. There are two types of data, which are primary and secondary, and under topic 17 you can use secondary data, primary data, or both. You and your mentor have to decide the type of data that is suitable for you. And the sources you'll be collecting data from under topic 17 are 1, corporate governance policy or law that your organization is required to abide by. 2, corporate governance report. Basically, will provide you with information about your organization corporate governance practices. 3, management or board of directors will provide you with information on how they are implementing corporate governance requirement and impact it will have on stakeholders, or it is having on stakeholders. Use this only if you can get access to either a board member or a member of the management team who has got a direct understanding or a direct influence or has a role in the corporate governance implementation at the organization. And if you cannot gain access to any of them, remember that the organization corporate governance report will suffice. The next one is the annual report, and basically provide you with information on key information that will help you to assess whether corporate governance requirements are being followed and the impact it is having on certain stakeholders. Then 5, the course books are the source of knowledge and understanding of the accounting techniques and business model. 6, the organization website provides you with information and data about organization that can be helpful to your project. 7, news and external provides external information about organization and corporate governance issues. Only select the sources you'll be using. Now that you know what to write under 2.1, let us look at how to write 2.1. Under 2.1, you write sources of information. Then 2.1.1, if it is secondary data, you write secondary data. You define and explain, state the advantages and disadvantages. Then you go to 2.1.2, sources of information. You state the source, the information you get, and the role of the information. And let us discuss the research report part 2, 2.1 sample attached to this tutorial. From the 2.1 sample, you realize that the mentee follow the guidelines are provided, and most importantly, reference, which is very, very key. If you follow the guidelines, you will meet the objective of topic 17 research report part 2, 2.1, and when you meet the objective, you will pass the 2.1. 2.2 method of gathering data. And the objective of 2.2 is to identify and state the methods you use to gather data and information. What the marker is seeking to know is how would you collect data from the sources you have identified under 2.1 sources of information. You answer by 1, identifying the sources of information which has already been done under 2.1, and 2, you correspond it to a method of gathering data. Therefore, the method of gathering data are done by matching it to a source. Okay, so annual report, you need to use online or company house. Corporate governance policy, online, library or buying. Corporate governance report, online or company house. Course books, library, online or buying. News media report, online, library or buying. Expert or industry publication, online, library or buying. Company website, online. Board member or management interview. And this, by doing this, it will lead you to identifying or interview, online access, library buying as the method of gathering data that you are likely to use to gather data from 2.1. Now that you know what to write under 2.2, let us look at how to write 2.2. So you state the title 2.2 method of gathering data, then you state the method, explain the method, and the example of sources the method will be used, and you use it. You follow this step for each method. Now let us discuss the research report part 2, 2.2 sample attached to this tutorial. From the 2.2 sample, you realize that the mentee followed the guidelines I provided and selected the methods he needed. Nothing else, nothing more. It is important you do that, okay? And when you do that, you will meet the objective of the research report part 2, 2.2. The third component you look at is 2.3 limitations of gathering data. And the objective of 2.3 is to identify the limitations you encounter during the gathering of data. What the marker is seeking to know whether you encountered any limitation during the gathering of data. Remember, this is all about your personal experience. Okay, so what limitation or limitations did you encounter when you were gathering data? The limitations you are likely to encounter during the gathering of data under topic 17 are limited sources, misrepresentation, and cancellation of interview. Let you know what to write under 2.3, let us look at how to write 2.3, and you do that by stating the title 2.3 limitation of gathering data, then you state the limitation, you explain the limitation, and then how you manage the limitation. It's very important. Let us discuss the research report part 2, 2.3 sample attached to this tutorial. And from the 2.3 sample, you realize that the mentee follow the guidelines I provided. And I'll tell you again, it is important to follow the guidelines to meet the objective of research report part 2, 2.3, because when you do so, you will pass 2.3. The fourth component we look at is ethical issues encountered during the information gathering. And the objective of 2.4 is to identify the ethical issues you encounter during information gathering. What the marker is seeking to know whether your work is ethically acceptable. Remember, this is also a personal experience issue. So if you have encountered it, right? So at the end of the day, that's what the marker wants. If you have encountered any ethical issue, they want to hear about those ethical issues you encountered. And in writing, you have to answer, did I encounter any ethical issues? It's either yes or no. Okay. The ethical issues questions to answer with your personal experience are: 1, did you deceive those who participated in your research? Did you use any financial inducement to get a participant to participate? Did you cause the participant any psychological stress? Did you get access to confidential information? Have you plagiarized or colluded with others? And 6, are there other issues not identified but are ethical in nature? And by answering them, you'll be able to write 2.4. Now that you know what to write under 2.4, let us look at how to write 2.4. And remember, whether you encounter any ethical issue or you don't encounter any ethical issue, you have to write 2.4. And if you don't encounter any ethical issue, just state that you didn't, okay? But if you did, state the ethical issue, explain the ethical issue, but most importantly, indicate how you resolve the ethical issue. If you don't, then your work is classified as unethical work, and Oxford Brookes will not touch it. So it's very important that you explain how you resolved the ethical issue. Let us look at how 2.4 sample have been done. From the 2.4 sample, you realize that the mentee follow the guidelines are provided, and it is important you do the same, because doing that will help you to meet the objective of topic 17, research report part 2, 2.4. The fifth component we look at is 2.5, accounting techniques and business model. Remember what I said, how this component is very important to the project and occupy 2 positions on the marking scheme. Therefore, remember to do a good work here, because it is very important to your success under topic 17. And the objective of 2.4 is to provide in-depth knowledge and understanding of the accounting techniques and business models you are using for the research and analysis project. What the marker is seeking to know is whether you understand the accounting techniques and business model you are using for topic 17. So you answer by 1, reading about the accounting techniques and business models from different authors, and 2, identifying the key areas of the accounting techniques and business models that will be helpful to the project. And the accounting techniques and business model for topic 17 are corporate governance laws, corporate governance principles, corporate governance laws or principles guiding your organization, and Mendel's metrics. You need to work with your mentor on which of these accounting techniques and business model you should use. And then you set a day aside to read about them from different authors and gain in-depth knowledge and understanding of them. I guarantee you, you will pass the 2 components of the accounting techniques and business models on the marking scheme if you do that. Remember, don't just read it from Kaplan and BPP as advised under topic 17 introduction tutorial. Let you know what to write under 2.5. Let us look at how to write 2.5. We state the title 2.5, accounting techniques and business models and their limitation. Then we state the accounting technique or business model, define it, expand on the definition, explain its role in business, state its importance, state and explain each component of the accounting technique or business model, and list its limitation. So you remember, you do it for each of the accounting techniques and business model I have identified, and the ones you have selected out of the ones I've identified. So for instance, maybe you're using Mendel's metrics, you do it for Mendel's metrics, and then maybe you're looking at corporate governance laws, you do it for corporate governance laws. It's important to do so. Let us look at 2.5 sample attached. 2.5 sample, you realize that the mentee actually follow the guidelines I have provided, but not all. To help you to secure an A, I would advise you go further to expand on the definition. Okay, you explain its role in business and its importance. Then you can add a component and limitation as the mentee have done. It's very, very important you do so. Very, very, very important. Also, remember to reference as well. And lastly, do it for each of the accounting techniques and business models you are using for topic 17. And when you do that, you will be following the guidelines, and that means that you will meet the objective of topic 17 research report part 2 2.5. And when you achieve the objective, you will be passing the first component of the marking scheme of Oxford Brookes University. The key to do's you need to do if you want to pass topic 17 research report part 2 are: remember to read wide on the accounting techniques and business models under 2.5, and read it from different authors, okay, not just Kaplan or BPP. And if you do this, you'll be on the path of becoming a BSc graduate with topic 17 research and analysis project. In conclusion, we have discussed component, guidelines, sample discussions, and key consideration. The samples used from 2.1 to 2.5 component of topic 17 were written by my mentees who had A's and B's. Therefore, I hope you use their work as an inspiration to follow my guidelines as you write your own. And if you do this and you follow the techniques and steps shown from 2.1 to 2.5, I have no doubt that you pass topic 17 research report part 2. Thank you so much. My name is Isaac Jima. I'm senior teacher at Steady iPass International. I appreciate the time you have used to listening to me, and I wish you all the best.